For all your pastry, bakery and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151, or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
One of the political aspirants, a well-known political aspirant. I don't think I need to introduce him. We all know him already. But nonetheless, we have in our midst Mr. Essa Faal. He's an independent candidate for the forthcoming presidential elections. And he decided to pay a courtesy call to the Victim Center to meet the victims and meet the secretariat and the board members. So in our midst, we also have the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Kijera, Sir Mohamed Kijera, and we have Adam Ajalo, he's the national coordinator. We have the deputy chairperson of the board, Ramsia Diab, and we have board members, Baba Haidara and Mr. Jai, Babukan Jai. So the purpose of calling you guys, calling the media, is to have this courtesy call publicized, because we all know as victims, there are things that we are demanding for the next president. Very soon, the TRRC report will be submitted to the executive, and we expect that as soon as the elections are over, the next agenda the first agenda for the incoming president will be the implementation of the TRRC recommendations. So on behalf of the Secretariat once again, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Victim Center, Mr. Faal, you are most welcome. The Victim Center, just to give a brief background, was established sometime in April 2017. Immediately after the impasse, negotiations was started by a few families, about 9 family members, victim members, who were able to establish an association they ended up calling the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations. Why did they come together? Because fighting our case individually will take a long time, and for some of the victims may not be able to afford the legal and other requirements to get justice for their cases. So they decided to come and have the association. And number one of the activities that we do is to document cases of all human rights violations. All victims, all registered victims, or almost all victims of human rights violations are registered with the Victim Center. And we have been working hand in glove with the TRRC to make sure that the victims that are registered with us are also registered with the TRRC so that they can benefit from reparations. So we also provide services like medical support, educational support to children of victims, and we also provide psychosocial support. There are victims who are somewhat traumatized that they need psychosocial support, ongoing psychosocial support. We have an established unit here at the Victim Center, and we are also working with other institutions that are providing psychosocial support. So this has been ongoing, and to date, we can boast that we have over 1,000 victims registered with the Victim Center. So that is a very big plus for the center. And now that we are at the tail end of the TRRC, very soon the report will be submitted to the executive. And we are expecting that these recommendations that are going to be put forward in that report will be implemented by the next president. So we hope that, we hope and pray that Essa could be the next president. And we don't have any doubt as far as Essa is concerned. We know he has the victims at heart, and he has done all he could during the TRRC. We've seen it, we all witnessed it, and we've seen it. So we don't have any doubt that Essa being the next president, the report will be fully implemented. Recently, we had the UN has made recommendations that all the perpetrators must be brought to justice. And the ICC term also is saying that justice must prevail. Justice must be seen to happen in this country. So there's no way things can be compromised. So Essa, you are most welcome once again. And I think what I would do now is to call upon the chairman to give a few remarks, then we give the floor to our guest.
Thank you, Keva, for giving that wonderful breakdown about how we started. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Secretariat of the Victim Center, I would like to welcome our honorable and distinguished guest, Mr. Essa Faal, my brother, my good friend. He is not new to many of us here. He has been the lead counsel at the TRRC. We would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Essa Faal, for doing a wonderful job at the TRRC. It's all because of your professional and diligent work with the TRRC. We are able to get down to the bottom of the truth. That is to know the gruesome human rights violations that occurred during the Yahya Jammeh era of APRC 22-year misrule. Before, we were all assuming that some of these, the violations were committed by foreigners, not Gambians. But the good work of the TRRC, confirmed to us that our own brothers were the one behind all these atrocities that were committed during the Jammeh era. So, Mr. Faal, thank you very much. And with your team in the legal department, the chairman of the TRRC Commission, the commissioners, the investigation and research unit, the victim support unit. The victims are very proud of you, and they are grateful for the work and contribution you have done as part of the transitional justice program. Thank you very much, sir. This engagement with Mr. Faal is one of our programs that we are engaging leaders of the various political parties. As you know, His Excellency, the former Vice President, Mr. Usainu Dabo, and the UDP delegations were here before. And we have a very fruitful discussions with them. They have made a commitment, to justice, to make sure that TRRC recommendations are honored and respected and will be implemented if at all they are elected into office. And also we have a meeting with Ismail Assise, Dr. Ismail Assise of Citizen Alliance with his delegation. They also paid us a courtesy call and also made a commitment, to fully implement the TRRC recommendation, and also a commitment for justice as well. So this is not the first time. I just want to be clear on the record for the media that this is not just for Essa Faal, but we are engaging all the other political parties. So Mr. Faal also is here to make that engagement with the victims community and to shed light on the work of, on some of the work that they have done with the TRRC to clear the doubts of some of these victims with regards to the final report and recommendations of the TRRC, and also to make a commitment for justice as well, and also to have that political will to implement the recommendations of the TRRC. So I just want to welcome Mr. Faal to the Victim Center. The victims are your victims. You have been working with them. You had established that relationship with them. So thank you very much and welcome to the Victim Center.
Confirming that this is not the first time we are having politicians in our midst visiting the Victim Center. So it's like this is the third time. So I just want to make one thing clear about Essa, which I know as an individual, not as from the institution. At the beginning, there were claims that he's an Ahmadiyyan Muslim. I just want to make sure that I clear this doubt. Already he had an interview which I watched on Member Kerr, where he cleared it. I'm a living witness. I know his family. I know the parents. I know his grandmother, Mam Kumbanjai of 12 Rankin Street. Everybody coming from the Sereres, there we used to lodge in their compound. They are real Muslims, and Essa Faal, his father, was a committee member at the Kanifing South Mosque. We know them very well, and I think it's good that we clear that Essa, definitely, as far as knowledge of his background is concerned, he's a real Muslim, just like all of us. I think it's good that we make this clear to the media as well, as a witness. somebody who knows the background of the family as well. So Essa, you are most welcome to give your statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for giving me this opportunity. I salute you all for this important work that you're doing for the victims of this country. I am first and foremost a lawyer. I have served as a prosecutor in several courts. I have also worked as a defense lawyer in some of these courts, international courts. But perhaps what is not so pronounced is that I have also been victims' representatives in these courts. I am the lawyer for the victims of the genocide in Darfur. I am also a lawyer for the victims of the extrajudicial killings in the Philippines in the case against President Duterte, which has just been confirmed for investigations by the ICC. So, you know, when it is time for politics, people say a lot of things. If they do not have an answer to what you have to say, they will attack you personally. And I am no exception. I have been attacked in several ways, including my pedigree, my family background, my religion. I have said before, they have attacked me in the name of Islam. I will forgive them in the name of Islam. Because there is nothing more profoundly troubling than to attack a person's faith. But I forgive them. They have attacked my ancestry, but they don't know me. But they don't care to know the truth. All they are interested in is to score cheap political points or to attack a person just for the sake of attacking the person. But what they show is not that person, they show their own true character. I think I am very proud of where I come from. I am very proud of my ancestry. From my great-grandparents to my grandparents to my father and mother, they've all made immense contributions to this country. For anyone who cares to know, you can check. But that's not why I am here. I am here to talk about the victims of this country. The victims who have suffered greatly in the hands of a terrible dictatorship. For me, this is deeply personal. Why is it so personal? It's because I have sat with quite a number of them in hours of interview, digesting all the terrible things that have happened to them. I have sat there hours on end, hearing horrible stories that were meted out to our brothers and sisters, our mothers, uncles, aunties, fathers, and brothers and sons. One of the biggest atrocities that is happening to our people is this Mile 2 prison. It's in a terrible state of dilapidation. Being incarcerated in that place is a human rights violation. To force an individual in the name of punishment to sleep in a stinking toilet is a crime. We're not talking about all the terrible things that happened to them. I was ashamed to talk about the number of Gambian men I'm ashamed to talk about it. A lot of our men are walking up and down the street, hiding under the shame of impotency. Castration was a method of punishment and a method of torture. I refused to mention the numbers because I did not want people to walk around the street pointing at each other that he may be another one. It will cause a lot of shame and embarrassment to a lot of people in the community. I refuse to talk about it. the things that happen in this country are not only shameful, they are dirty. It is the responsibility of every single Gambian to do everything possible to ensure justice for these victims. If we don't do that, we'll be failing in our responsibility to them. And any individual who participates in enforcing or reinforcing the impunity that we now face is betraying the aspirations of the Gambian people. I had made a personal commitment to make the issue of the victims of our 22 years of dictatorship a central cause in my campaign. In fact, this is one of the principal reasons why I am running for president, because I have no confidence, zero confidence, that the report of the TRRC would see the light of day under this government. They have told us that because they have gone to bed with the party of the perpetrator. And in their presence, the bed partner is telling them that this report is going into the dustbin. And the partner sits there nodding and cheering. So, in law, that is acquiescence. Or even worse, an accomplice. We say no to that. We say no to impunity. We say no to injustice. We say no to reconciliation without justice. We say that the perpetrators must face justice. But you know, I thank God for international law. You see, when I delivered that address, that impromptu closing address at the TRRC, I said that if this government does not act, Ghana would act. If Ghana doesn't act, West Africa would act. If West Africa doesn't act, Africa would act. If Africa doesn't act, the United Nations would act. If the United Nations doesn't act, then the ICC would act. And the train has left the station. There is nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. You know why? The crimes that happened in this country are crimes that shock the human conscience. And the whole civilized world have converged together in Rome in 1998 to craft an international treaty that would bring about an end to violations, gross violations of human rights that amount to crimes against humanity. And indeed, what happened in this country were crimes against humanity. They cannot do anything about it. That's why I was not surprised when the United Nations Working Group on Human Rights the other day made a declaration that what happened in Gambia amounts to crimes against humanity and the perpetrators must face international justice. I think that vindicated us. On the day I delivered my closing remarks, the ICC prosecutor was watching. The incoming ICC prosecutor then was watching live. And immediately afterwards, he tweeted that he agreed with us that the perpetrators must face justice. And indeed, the outgoing prosecutor as well, in a turnaround, gave a statement accepting that the violations can now go to ICC. I ask you to take courage. I ask you to take courage. In the wheels of international justice may turn very slowly, but turn they would, and indeed gradually they would gather speed and momentum. And in a government led by Essa, Faal, be rest assured that the perpetrators will face justice, be it in this country or elsewhere. If we want to maslaha the truth as to refuse to bring them to justice, well, the notion of maslaha does not exist in international criminal law. Others would implement it for us, and they will face justice. We have seen Hussein Habre. He was a fugitive of international justice for a while, but he could hide no longer. We have seen former heads of state dragged to trial. I led the prosecution of one of Africa's then strongest presidents, the president of the Sudan. He too is today in custody. So we have to take courage. We have to allow for the wheels to turn. But trust me on this one. If the current government fails the Gambian people in its responsibility to do what is right by the people, the Gambian people have the responsibility to hold them accountable for that. They have shown us that they are not interested in implementing any TRRC report. They show us that they are not interested in prosecuting Jammeh. In fact, they want to reward him. They want to reward him. Reward him with what? The status of elder statesman. Reward him with what? A return of all his properties. Reward him with what? Property stolen from us, which we have recovered, is now being restored to him. That's what we have had. The truth of which I cannot verify. But if that is to happen, that is the greatest betrayal of the Gambian people. And I do not mince my word when I say that. That would be the greatest betrayal of the Gambian people. We fought so hard. We fought so hard to oust the dictatorship. We fought so hard to establish the truth. For me, at very high personal risks, I have suffered a lot of threats in what I was doing. I didn't flinch. I did not budge. Now we know the truth about what has happened. Now we are at the cusp of getting justice. They want to deprive us of that justice at the altar of political expediency. We say, no, we refuse, it will not happen. You will pay the price. For come December 4, we will remove you all from power. Because the Gambian people want peace. And there cannot be peace if we do not have justice and reconciliation. They're doing it in the name of reconciliation. They're forgetting that, in fact, the Jola people are the worst affected group in this country. They have been the most victimized ethnic group in this country. So when we stand for the victims, we also stand for the Jolas, who've been so badly brutalized by the terrible dictatorship that we had. I pledge that in a government that I am involved in, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to ensure that there is justice. This is not a call against any particular individual. It is a call for the reinforcement of certain principles that enhance our civilization as a people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Essa Faal. We've all heard Essa, and as far as the victims are concerned, I said it in my introductory remarks, we don't have any doubts as to whether the recommendations of the TRRC report will be implemented by a government led by Essa Faal. So he has emphasized on that, and we've seen the emotions when he was trying to make some statements regarding his background. So I also cleared that on an individual basis. So we are grateful that we have Essa here, and we thank him and wish him all the best. And we wish a very successful and peaceful elections to all Gambians. I think in conclusion, it's important that we remember that the Gambia will remain. Politicians will come and go. And there is the need for peace. The politics of insulting each other, it doesn't help. But in our politics, if you listen to some of the audios going around, some of the insults, you don't even want to listen to them. Just in the name of damaging your opponents. It's not called for. So I think I would want to call upon Mr. Adam Jallo, who is the national coordinator, to give a closing remarks. Mr. Jallo.
The board of directors of the Victim Center, that we want to thank you very much. Kijera made mention that we are embarking in seeing many political parties, talk to their leaders. We've seen Usainu Dabo and his political party, and we were reassured when they come to government what they would do. We've also been reassured by Dr. Cisse, if he's elected to power, what he would do. Now we have heard Essa. Essa was very professional when he was doing his job at the TRS. I think we want to commend you for that. We've been watching you diligently, and you've been very professional. We are not citing anybody. I think the victims are very happy and are reassured today. And we are confident that if you come to government, you would really ensure that justice will prevail. Like I always say in many fora, that we are a non-political institution. We don't sideline for any political institution, but we do support the interests of victims. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much and wish you all the best in your endeavors towards politics. Thank you very much.
What would you say, Mr. Faal, to some of the victims who claim that your running should have waited, that you should have waited, and instead of running right now, putting your hat into the race? As we are seeing, there is no report as of yet. So what do you say to some of those victims? And then my second question is to you, sir. At the beginning of your speech, it almost seemed as if you were supporting Mr. Faal for his candidacy. Is that a personal decision by you, or are you speaking on behalf of the Victim Center when you were making some of those your statements? Yeah, some of those statements where you were earlier saying, you know, look, I think he could win, etc., or, you know, some of the things which you were saying earlier was very borderline. Please clarify. Are you supporting him personally, or are you saying that in your capacity as Victim Center?
He is speaking so passionately, as if that the suggestion that Essa may win is offensive. Well, that is music in the ears of many people. The music in the ears of many Gambians. Get used to it. But to answer your question, you see, that is a non-issue in the first place. To wait for what? But you've asked Mike a question. You either answer it or you allow me to answer it. So choose one.
When you ask me a question like that, I expect that you expect.
No, I did not ask you. You asked me a question. Please allow me to answer it. Thank you very much, sir. What I am saying is, there is nothing for me to wait for. Either you say I am inexperienced, I have to go look for experience before I come to the field. Or I don't have ideas, I am clueless, I have to go get some training and come and be prepared to become president. I don't know what you're looking for. You see, when people do not have an answer to what you have to offer, they look for little things, okay, to puncture holes on your positions. I did my work at the TRRC, I finished it, and I left. Political games were being played to get me stuck, ensconced at the TRRC. I refused. I have a brain, it's intended to make me think and to deal with issues, and I dealt with them. I did my work, I finished. I was thanked by the TRRC, I was thanked by government. I am free as a citizen to do whatever I want, all right? And what I want to do now is to run for president because of the terrible malaise that is happening in this country. If things were going well, we wouldn't be having this gathering. If things were going well, the women wouldn't be dying in the hospitals. For what? For lack of gloves. If it wasn't for the terrible cost of living, I would have no business running for president. I am doing so because of the deep concern that I have for the welfare of these people and the direction of this country. And that is why I am calling for a turnaround. And if you and the Gambian people deem us worthy to vote for us come December 4, be rest assured that by the turn of the year, we would begin a turnaround to a new direction that would take care of the welfare of women and indeed that of every Gambian. A new direction that would ensure jobs for the youth. A new direction that would change our education system from what it is to what we need. An education system that would train Gambians to solve the problems of this country instead of to produce people who just memorize and regurgitate. We want a new direction for this country. We want to tame the corruption. We want to change things so that Gambia would now be one of the best places to do business in the world and not one of the worst places to do business in the world. If they find my candidacy inconvenient, I am sorry for them. Let them find a better answer than these cheap questions. He should have waited. Waited for what? So that their favorite candidate would win, so that we can reinforce the ineptitude and the incompetence that happens in this government.
I think we are deviating from the purpose of this meeting.
If you allow me,
But no.
Conference, and we are just inviting.
Okay, all right, it's all right.
The reason why I asked you my question, I said
It's
I was
okay.
actually speaking to some of the victims before you came. You understand? My question was direct.
Yes,
I said,
but you must realize.
I understand what you said, and I know this is politics. You are not only in this arena, but I'm specific in my question from the victims. That's what I asked you. And I understand the challenges that you are facing, but my question was very specific. This is not coming from your political opponents, per se. These are coming from your victims, some of the victims who you are standing for. Okay. I'm asking you, what do you say
don't you
their
think,
suggestion that you should have waited?
But don't you think that some victims may even support other political parties? So they may be entitled to have those opinions. But I think that if we are going to have a debate on the political issues, we should discuss things that are meaningful and not little trivialities like he should have waited for nothing that has been mentioned. Thank you very much. I'll take another question.
I said, we have no doubt a government led by Essa is going to implement the recommendations of the TRRC. This is what I said. I don't think English is not our language. No, I'm not saying what, I did not say anything that supports him as a political leader. I said we don't have any doubt that the recommendation of the TRRC will be implemented by a government led by Essa, knowing very well about what happened and being the lead counsel in the investigation. This is what I said. And when I talked about his background, I said on an individual basis, very clearly, isn't it? I said on an individual basis, based on my knowledge as an individual of his background about his Islamic status and so forth. I said it very clear, please. Okay, yes.
Mr. Faal, greetings. I just want to have two questions. One is, I first wanted to say that recently some of us victims thought that the reparation committee is virtually tarnishing the image of the TRRC. I just wanted to know if you are still influential to the TRRC at the moment, because what some of us are encountering at the reparation committee, committee, is just unbearable. There are some victims that have went to the reparation committee, victims who have been jailed, for example, for so many months or years, are compensated less than those who have been there for short time. So I just wanted to know if you are still influential so that you could, I don't know, shed light on those issues. The other question I wanted to ask is, we all are following up the political landscape in this country, and some of us thought that for the December 4th elections, for us to have victory, one party cannot do it alone. Some of us victims thought that, just like we did in 2016 with the dictator, would be would be a preferred, choice. For example, I just wanted to ask if you are called on a coalition in which you would be part of, to oust Barrow, are you willing to join? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, it seems that this press conference is turning into politics. But there you have it. Here you have a candidate, a potential candidate standing before you, so you ask those questions. But these are questions, I'll take the last. This is a question I have already answered. We have recently held a rally at Buffer Zone, a massive rally for that matter. I had some people peg it at 7,000. That makes me laugh. But you know what? I have called for the political leaders of this country to come together. So that tells my stance on this. But don't think that no candidate can win or can win other than the incumbent if there is no coalition. Don't think that at all. And I want to believe that a lot of us are misreading the political climate. But I can assure you that wait until November, you would see a seismic shift in Gambian politics. Be rest assured that what you are going to see after November would be frightening. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a soothsayer. But what I see on the ground makes me hopeful. That day when I was, look, the night before our buffer zone rally, I went to the buffer zone and I looked around. I said, am I crazy or not? After only 34 days of existence, we want to tackle the buffer zone. It's like a small town team calling for a baseball match at Yankee Stadium. For anybody who visited New York or watched baseball would understand. I was scared the rest of the night. I thought I had written my political epitaph. That was going to be my political demise. But you know what? When I arrived at Westfield and I saw the massive crowd and people cheering from rooftops, I knew something was happening in this country. And when I arrived at Buffer Zone, it reinforced my conviction that we can turn things around. Yes, a coalition is more reassuring. So we all want to buy insurance to ensure that there is no mistake. But trust me, the incumbent can be ousted by a single party or a single candidate. I tell you that. Because you know what? Its policies are very unpopular. Gambia is retrogressing. Things are hard. Everybody is crying, including the supporters of the incumbent. Because you know what? Instead of paying $7 for a cup of palm, for a cup of cooking oil, they're now paying $22. Instead of paying $10 for a cup of or a tin of palm oil, they're now paying $35. A kilo of meat now is $350. If you want to eat proper super kanja, you have to take to the market more than the salary of a first-class police officer. So it is that terrible. And that's come December 4. The people would state their verdict on the government. And they would tell them, we preferred that you would have bought ambulances that would save our people instead of pickup trucks for campaigns. We would have preferred that you would help the people in Tanka instead of bringing in containers of T-shirts for political campaign. The people would have spoken, and on that day, you would hear a resounding victory. Wherever I went in this country campaigning, people would be singing the chorus, IAG, IAG, IAG. from the kids to the adults, it means something. I leave that question. Now I go to the issue of the reparations, the TRRC. I want to assure you, my brother, that I am a private citizen. I'm a private citizen now. I have no influence at the TRRC, zero. It would be unfair for me to have any influence there. If I am asked questions pertaining to my work, I'll be happy to answer. But there are people there who can equally answer. But I want to give you this assurance that the reparations of the TRRC was very well thought out. I have never seen any reparations by a truth commission that has been well thought out and well crafted as that of the TRRC. How do I know it? Because we have studied what has happened in other TRRCs in order to be able to craft ours. When they apply reparations, they don't think about names or individuals. They think about events, facts, and circumstances, and the rules of the game. Mistakes may be made here and there, but those would not be intentional as to deprive a person of his or her entitlement. They may just be human error. But be rest assured that the reparations of the TRRC is well thought out. What you may miss, you may know that John Doe and Fatou Jane suffered similar circumstances, but you do not know the extent of those sufferings or the separation. You may not know everything that happened to these two individuals. So you may expect, on the basis of the knowledge you have, that they will receive the same thing. But the reparations is based on a graded scale of seriousness and gravity of the violation the individual has suffered. But you may not know that. So you may think that this is unfair or this is not done. But let me tell you something. Anybody can calculate the amount of reparations one is entitled to at the TRRC. And I will tell you a simple test. Just take your statement and put it down. And underline all the atrocities, all the violations suffered, and you check it against the scale of the TRRC, and you know when you do online shopping, you say you have this, you pay for this much. You have this, you pay for that much. And at the end of the day, you add the total. You simply can't tell what you are entitled to. So that is how the TRRC did it. It is very fair, it is above board, it is well thought out. But I don't exclude that mistakes could be made due to human error. But I want you to have confidence in the system, that this is a system that works. What victims should now be crying for is for government to pay the outstanding bill of the reparations, which according to the law is a judgment debt. That is what you should be claiming for. Thank you.
When we had Usainu Dabo here, I made a statement which is very similar to what I said here. Because he is the one on the ground, and we are not saying we are voting for him or we are calling for support for him. What we are saying is, as far as the victims are concerned, we are confident that if he wins, the recommendation of the report will be implemented. I don't think this is supporting somebody. We said it, and anybody that comes here, we will say that if you win, we hope that the recommendations will be implemented. That's what we are advocating for. This is what we want. Recently, if you are following Facebook and the media, when Jammeh visited the former president's family, Barrow visited Jammeh's family, it created a lot of noise if you are following the media. Why? Because we felt as victims, before you talk about reconciliation, justice first. Talk to the victim first before you go to the perpetrator. If you want to reconcile me and somebody who has done something against me, you start with him. What's that? That's not reconciliation. We felt that as victims, everything should start with us. So this is why any candidate that comes here, we must express the advocacy that yes, we are confident that if you win, we hope that the recommendation of the TRRC will be implemented. Anybody that comes here will say the same statement. It's not a supporting. Even if Barrow comes, we will emphasize that that report must be.
No, we won't. I will not.
must be. We say it must be. Yes, we will say it must be. We want to make sure that it is implemented.
But why the question also? Because you guys received other political parties, as you said, but you didn't convene the press, and this is the first time I hear.
I was here.
No, you were not here. Maybe you are not aware. They are not aware. When Usenu came, we had a smaller media house here. But today is bigger, and that's why we have all these media houses. But the statements are not there.
But it's very good to make things
Yeah,
clear.
exactly. Yes. That's why we are important. No, we understand. When we make statements, sometimes it can be misinterpreted. But let's be rest assured that we are not siding with anybody. Adama said it. We are non-political.
Yeah, that's what I wanted
But
to
if parties come here and they are aspirants, we must emphasize our concern and what we need from them. Yes, that's all.
Let's not be judgmental. I think I said it here. We are non-political. We don't support any political party, but we individually you can support any party you want. But as an institution, we are making it very clear and crystal that we are not here to promote the ideals of any political party. But we are acknowledging the fact that when they come to office with the issues that they are coming up with, we are reassured as victims. That's what we are saying. But individuals are open to vote for any political party they wish to. I think we should be very careful to distort information.
What I want to ask is, why is the TRC recommendations or TRC report still not submitted after 2 times of expectation from the victims and from the citizens?
I think you should ask this question of the TRRC. Ask the TRRC to answer that. Why ask Essa? I don't work at the TRRC. I'm a private citizen. I'm a private lawyer. If you want to give me a brief, and then I can go and ask them. But the TRRC is just down the road. You can go and ask them why. But one thing I know is I have finished my job. I have received my pat on the back. Thank you for the job well done. And for anyone who cares to see, I have my letters. You know, politicians or members of the ruling party have been going around and bandying all sorts of stories about my departure from TRRC. And I have my letter from the Minister of Justice saying thank you for the job well done. So, and I had challenged them. But I have my letter. So I do not hold brief for the TRRC. Even for things I know, I will not say, because that would be unprofessional. The TRRC should answer for itself. I am no longer there. I have left. So I think that was the last question. Before I yield the floor, I just want to say a few words to all Gambians. You know, political season is usually a silly season. People can say anything. But I just want to say, or ask all my fellow contenders or candidates and all their supporters to exercise a great deal of discretion in what we say and what we do. The Gambia is a very small country. We are all one and the same. Yes, we may stand at different sides of the political spectrum, but that does not change us from brothers and sisters and into enemies. We are not enemies, and we should not see each other as such. Yes, some may be more passionate about some issues than others, but that should not turn us into what we are not. We are a very peace-loving people. Our cultures embrace important values. We should always look to the things that put us together and not the little things that divide us. We should, even as we disagree with each other, we embrace each other as one Gambia, one people, and one nation. And that way, we would all prosper. I pray to God that we have a very peaceful election. Even where I disagree with my colleagues, I hold them all to the highest degree of respect, because it is only when we respect each other that we can tolerate one another better, especially where our differences are very pronounced. So I also encourage the media to exercise a great deal of measure and responsibility in what they do. Do not stoke the flames of discord. Try to reinforce our unity as one people. And that way, together, we will all have a very peaceful election come December and a very peaceful transition to change. I'm saying this because I am expecting nothing but change. But whatever the result is, I pray to God that the Gambian people would respect it, all the players would respect it, and peace would reign in this country. I thank you all.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal bel laka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit benn tey tamit si ay dàlla waaye man nag skincare mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox Skincare Plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses I mean we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème picture boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii
Love, love, love like fire. Bring my yobu gumba fire. Love, 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 love like fire.
Agada.
Mbijan raganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. What's that?
Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong labe ko.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol dir fana beteata. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.